What's up, Epic Gamers? ClickFlowers37 here. In this video, you will see my real name and face, like you're seeing right now, because I am too lazy to edit it out of the video. I had to make a video for a project for my AP Biology class. It's about hippopotamuses and evolution, and I was way too lazy to make another video, so here you go. Hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Matthew Friends, and this is my Adopt an Organism presentation. So what is my organism? Well, my organism is the hippopotamus, but the Latin name of it is Hippopotamus amphibius. And here's a picture of a hippopotamus in its typical river environment. And here's a picture of the Pokemon version of a hippopotamus. But remember, Pokemon displays evolution incorrectly since they display one organism through one lifetime. So this is incorrect. So what exactly is a hippopotamus? Well, if you didn't know, they're a mammal, part of the order Artiodactyla. And they're also a herbivore, with their diet mainly consisting of grass, but they also eat some aquatic plants when they're in rivers, and they're a semi-aquatic animal going between rivers and land. And here are some fun facts about them. They weigh around 1.5 to 2 tons, and that mainly comes from grass, but they have a system where they store most of it as fat, so that's why they weigh so much. A hippopotamus literally means water or river horse, and this is an accurate statement because they actually absolutely love their rivers. They typically spend 16 hours a day in them to cool off from the heat in their typical African environment, and they can hold their breath for 5 minutes. And this time in the river actually benefits the ecosystem because their accretions have silicon in it, and it spreads throughout the river and into the soil, helping and promotes the photosynthesis in plants, so it helps the environment. So is a hippopotamus alive? Short answer is, well, yes, they are. And the long answer is still yes, but with reasons this time. So, what are the reasons? One, they are made up of cells like every other organism, and they also get their nutrition through eating grass, which is shown here. And that was said before, but this is a picture of them eating grass in their land environment before going into the river. They grow in height and weight from birth to adulthood. Here's parent hippopotamus with a cute baby hippopotamus. And you can see these are clearly bigger in height and weight. And they transport materials throughout their body. This is an example of their digestive tract, which moves nutrition throughout their body. And there are more reasons, but these are just some of them. So what's one evolutionary adaptation of my organism? Well, one of it is that a hippo has its eyes, nose, and ears on top of their head, shown here, here, here. And this allows them to submerge into the water more, since this is an adaptation that favors that. And this is an adaptation because due to random mutation in populations, these types of features appeared, and since it was favorable, it spread throughout the species. And you could kind of tell that their head would be over here, and their body is even further submerged, but their nose, eyes, and ears are actually on top of their heads out of the water. And this trait allows them to retain these features that help them through land activities such as getting nutrition through grass, but also helps them submerge more into the water. So they get the best of both worlds from this adaptation. And since it was beneficial to their lifestyle, it spread. So when did this adaptation arise and how? Well, the hippopotamus and their marine relatives diverged about 50 million years ago. And one can speculate that this adaptation probably rose around then. And this is because it distinguished the hippopotamus river and land lifestyle from the marine lifestyle of its relatives. And they also have other relatives that mainly spend their time on land. But remember, these features help them on land and also still submerge into the water. And it differs from both the mainly marine and both the mainly land. And it helps them get, again, best of the both worlds, and it differs from them. And it arose from random mutation again, but spread because it suited this lifestyle. So is it different though? Yeah, it actually is really different. And here are some of the hippopotamus close relatives. These are the land relatives. These two are species are actually extinct now, but here's what they would have looked like. Here's the Elomeryx and here's the Entelodont. And you can see both of their nose and eyes are lower on their head, which is not good for river lifestyle. And it differs a lot in the anatomy from hippopotamus. So here are two examples of phylogenetic trees. Here's one that I drew. The Desiccants and Entelodonti are more like pig-like looking ancestors, and these two up here are more like whale-looking species. And I'm going to be focusing on this phylogenetic tree, though. So here's an example of one of the monophyletic groups in it. And this is a monophyletic group because here's the common ancestor, right here of all the organisms in it. And here are all the descendants of that common ancestor. And since they're all included with one common ancestor, it's a monophyletic group. So let's look deeper into this phylogenetic tree. So we're going to be focusing on the humpback whale as the close relative to it because their most recent relative is right here, and it's pretty recent. And the humpback whale is also known as Megaptera novangelae. Um, but and you might be wondering, how is a whale and a hippopotamus closely related? Well, we can look at the DNA similarities. Articles reveal that humpback whales share similar genes with the order Artiodactyla, which remember hippopotamus are a part of. And Even further, the two species of hippopotamus and the humpback whales share a specific DNA sequence exclusively as well, rather than of the whole order, showing that they are really closely related. And we can also look at the homology of it. Humpback whale's flipper and hippopotamus foot have very similar bone structure, which is pretty common throughout mammal species. But also the ear bone of a humpback whale and the specific ankle bone is shared between humpback whales and this Artiodactyla order. And evidence that could refute this is that homologous structures may be analogous due to convergent evolution, but the evidence doesn't exist for this, so we can assume that the humpback whale is similar to hippopotamus. So in summary, that was a bit on my organism, the hippopotamus, and now you know a little bit more about the adaptation of where its eyes, nose, and ears are, and why the humpback whale is the closest relative to or one of the closest relatives to hippopotamus. I hope you enjoyed. And as a side note, these are some uh, these are some hippopotamus, and be aware because they're actually considered pretty dangerous by many.